So welcome to video number 14. It's been a while, but today I want to share with you an epiphany that I had. And I'm sure some of you will say, oh my God, I can't believe this woman took so long for this to figure this out. So my husband and I, well, let me start at the beginning. Most of you know that I was born and raised in the city. So in the city, when we need water, you turn on the faucet, it comes through the pipes, and you don't have to worry about it. So we moved to Florida, and I understand some people get the water through the pipes, and yet there are people that get their water through a well. So my husband and I are driving around, and somehow the issue of wells came up. And I was laughing because I said to him that I read on Facebook, a Facebook post, that when the electricity goes out, like during a storm, people who have wells have issues because the well needs the water, needs electricity to run. So it took me a while because my experience with wells has been what I've seen on TV. So we have seen two types of things. One, there's a hand pump, right? So you pump the hand. And the other is where they throw the little basket and then they wind it up and bring up water. So I said to myself, oh my God. So that's why when people see things on TV enough times, they believe it to be true. So while that might have been in the past, and I don't know anybody that has well water, so I don't know how it works, and I've never seen the updated modern version of, well water use and what kind of pumps they have that are connected to what. So that's my excuse. But my frame of reference is what I was used to seeing on TV. And so I said to myself, that is why when people have an opinion on something that they have never encountered, never participated or interacted with, their frame of reference becomes what they've seen on TV or what they hear on the radio or what they see in the newspaper, if they actually read a newspaper anymore, or things that are now posted on the internet. So it made perfect sense to me why people believe all the fake news that is being put out, why people trust the information that they get from the media and communicate. And so in a movie, if you see, your only experience with black people is, you see them in the movies, they're either hip-hop artists, they're gangsters, they're drug dealers, or they're dancers, right? So let's give them those four occupations. So when you meet a black person, you naturally assume that they fit in one of those four categories. And I started thinking back, we've traveled to Europe and different countries, and I remember people, my husband is black, people would say to him, oh, do you know Jay-Z? Do you know this? Like, they would ask him, did he know rappers? And if they weren't asking him if he knew rappers, they were asking him, did he know basketball players? They would say, oh, Charles Barkley, Charles Oak, whatever their names were then. But they wanted to know, did he know them? Because he's black. The only black people they've seen are on TV in that way. One time we were on a cruise and a woman came up to him and said, was he Darius Rucker? Now, that was hysterical to us because we had no idea who Darius Rucker is. Had she said to us, Hootie, from Hootie and the Blowfish, we would have known. But she kept insisting that he was Darius Rucker, and it was safe to tell her because she wouldn't tell anybody else on the cruise. So no matter how many times my husband kept saying, no, I'm not, no, and I would co-sign for him and I'd say he's not, she kept insisting that he was, because her frame of reference again was someone that she had seen, and so here he was looking similar, and so it had to be him. So then I said, well, how do you stop the miscommunication and the misunderstanding? Because if that's the frame of reference that we're going to use for everything, then we're really going to be in trouble. And the truth is, even as a kid, my greatest fear was going up into like the mountains or camping or something, because my frame of reference was, if you go out to the outdoors camping in the woods, some serial killer or a rapist is going to come and get you. And so to me, that frame of reference was white people. So I was always afraid to be in an area where there was a lot of white people. That changed as I slowly interacted with them and more understand people are people. But we keep using the information we receive from these sources and we take them as facts. So when someone says, oh, the election is stolen, and you hear it enough times from enough different people, you begin to believe it, even though we see that it's a lie. It's a lie. The person who started that lie just wanted to stay in that position. So what if everybody decides to do that? You hold an election for class president, and the kids that didn't win says, oh no, they stole the election, they put more ballots in there that they should have had. We have to be afraid of the repercussions for that. And so we have to begin to think for ourselves. If you are not sure, you have to investigate. So like today, my job is going to search up wells, see how they work, how they function, and what it is. Like, I'm already clear. They need electricity. No one is pumping the well or throwing in the bucket and rolling it up to get water. So when you are faced with contradictory information, then it's your job to investigate and find the truth. The other issue that I find is, how does, I don't care who you vote for, if you're Democrat, Republican, vote for someone that stands for something. How can all Republicans be against abortion? Women should have the right to decide what to do with their bodies. People who are victims of rape or incest should not be forced to have the children if they get pregnant. If they decide to have them, that's their business. People should not be forced to stay pregnant and give up a child because they can't afford to raise that child. Our governments cannot afford to raise any child in foster care. If you read all the studies about what happens in foster care, it's frightening what happens to children who are in foster care. And so why are we putting more kids in foster care? People are not adopting these kids that are in foster care. They rather go out of the country and adopt kids from other countries than adopt children that are here looking for homes. So we need to be realistic. We need to find out the facts. Women need to be in control of their bodies. Why don't then we say to the men who have vasectomies, they've now killed off how many kids? Because men could have sperm till the day they die. They could be producing sperm. So why is there not an issue with men who have vasectomies? Why isn't there an issue with men who wear condoms? If it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. Or in this case, if it's good for the gander, it's good for the goose. We have to start thinking that way. And so politicians, excuse me, who vote as a bloc, who make no kind of sense, what is the point of all of this? Everybody's having this big brouhaha over all of the things that Kanye said. Inappropriate? Definitely. Should he have said it? No. But it gets him attention. And so when DeSantis said that children should not learn that Columbus stole the land from Indians, what else did he do? So now we're going to put lies in the history books. We're going to say, oh no, he was a nice man and they just let him come and stay and do whatever he wanted. We need to tell the truth. So anyone who is against critical race theory, that's what critical race theory is. Saying the truth in all areas of history, whether it's the Holocaust. You know how many people are now saying that the Holocaust did not happen? How many people are saying that? And yet, when I was growing up, we could see people who had their numbers tattooed on them, who would come and speak to us in the class. So we knew that that was not a lie. We were exposed to books like Anne Frank. And so we understood that this horrible thing happened. And now We want to basically cover everything up because we don't want to hurt people's feelings. Kids should not feel bad. Yes, you should feel bad. Not bad because you did it, but bad because it happened, and bad to the point that you never ever want something like that to happen again. So this is kind of like a wake-up call to all of us. You know, if something as simple as a well could have my imagination working in a certain way, imagine what happens when you continually hear bad things about people. So we don't like what Kanye did, and you're right to condemn him, but yet we don't condemn other people when they say crazy stuff too. Like when that politician said, well, don't call, if you want to defund the police, don't call the police, call a crackhead. That should have been condemned. All of the other things should have been condemned. And the fact that a president was elected who was caught on a recording saying that he grabs them by the pussy, and then women began wearing shirts saying Trump can't grab my pussy, something is wrong in society. So how do we begin to fix society? How do we begin to fix society so that we have concern for one another? How do we begin to fix society so that we say, yes, truly all lives matter, but we understand that Black and people of color, their lives are being affected worse. So how do we develop that empathy? How do we bring it back? I know when I was in school, you know, and we said the Pledge of Allegiance and all of that, I felt so connected with my classmates. And I'm not saying bring back the Pledge of Allegiance. It was the fact that we together were in a place believing in something. And how do we get that belief in America again? When you go out and vote, and please make sure that you vote, because every vote does count. I always hate when I know people say this all the time, but my vote doesn't count. And people always say, oh yeah, it does, yeah, it does, yeah, it does. It might not, because if we found out that Russia interfered in the voting, then maybe it doesn't. But we still have to make that effort, and we still have to stand up for what's right. And that's what we need to do in America. Stand up for what is right. And if you don't know enough about something or someone, before you go cuckoo and base your opinion on stereotypes, movies that you've seen. So now, you know, Black Panther 2 is coming out. Don't think every Black person you see is coming from Wakanda, because they're not. So don't go around doing the Wakanda thing, as I heard people were doing that too. So we have to base our opinions on facts. Unless you actually have experienced it or seen it, then don't believe it until you do. And if you haven't, then give the person or the situation an opportunity to just reveal itself. And please, 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 please vote with your conscience, not with your party. If your party is a party that sucks, and I don't care, I'm saying for all, independents, Democrats or Republicans, find the person in that party that stands for what is right. And when they say these crazy things, you have to say, no, that's not who we are, and that's not what I believe. So please, please, please vote. Please think about the things that are embedded in your in your brain, because I'm telling you, you would be surprised when you start thinking about things and saying, well, why am I thinking this? And it's gonna come to you that I saw it on TV, I saw it in a movie. And we forget that not all movies are biographical. Not all movies are fact. And even when they're facts, sometimes the facts are changed for the movie line flow. So we have to be careful with the things that we believe in and the people that we trust. So please, please, please vote. lastly, for the people who keep saying the government can't make you do things, then why do we have a government? The government is supposed to make the laws that govern us. So if that's not working, that's not happening, something is wrong. Again, fix your thinking. We can't all do whatever we want. That's not how society works. Or some of us could do what we want and others can't. So this video is just hopefully a thought-provoking video. I always tell you, comment. I love to hear comments and share with your friends because it's extremely important. I wish you well, be safe, and until video number 16, take care. Oh, little button's not working. Bye-bye.